This video is about how to extract the famous statistics from tables. Now there's two types of tables, the ones which actually tell you the data and the ones which just tell you in what classes the data falls. Just to remind you what the table means. It's just a method of saving time from having to write out a massive list with lots of repetition. These are the actual numbers. These are code for how much time you're saving. So the actual list is 10, 10, 10, 10, 10, 10. Why did I say that 6 times? Because there's a 6. So it's 6 10s and then a whole bunch of 20s. How many 20s? 15. So this list is 1, 1, 2, 2, 2, and then a whole bunch of 4s. 15 of them in fact. So let's just be clear, there are 21 numbers in this list and there are 20 numbers in this list. Now here we don't actually tell you what the numbers are, we just tell you that there are 2 numbers between 0 and 10, we tell you that there are 8 numbers between 10 and 20. There's 1 number between 0 and 2, we don't know what it is, there's 1 number between 2 and 4, there's 6 numbers between 4 and 6. So, these ones should be easier because you can just use the Year 7 techniques for mode, median, mean and range. You just have to imagine what the list would be. So let's do it for these two. So what's the mode? The mode is the most frequently occurring number, that's a 20 because there's 15 of those, whereas there's only 6 10s. What's the mode down here? It is 4 because there's 15 of those versus 3 2s and 2 1s. What is the range? The range is the highest minus the lowest. The highest number is a 20, the lowest number is a 10. These are not numbers, these are just code for how many times these numbers would appear if you wrote the list out in full. So the range is 20 minus 10, that's 10. The range here is 4 minus 1, which is 3. Now, what about the median? The median is the middle number if you wrote the numbers in order and selected either the middle one if there's a single middle one or the 2 middle ones if there are 2 middle ones. You take the 2 middle ones and you add them up and divide by 2. In other words, you take what's halfway in between them. So, here there are 21 numbers. So, the list will not divide neatly into a first half and a second half. There'll be a single number in the middle. So there's 21 numbers. There'll be a single number in the middle and 20 on either side. 10 before it, 10 after it. So it will be the 11th. Which is, well, there's 6 10s, all the rest are 20s, so the 11th must be a 20. Just then when I decided it was the 11th, a little trick that students often use is take the number of numbers, divide it by 2, 10 and a half, round it up, that's 11, and then stick a little suffix on. The possible suffixes, of course, are th, st, nd, and rd. Those are the suffixes that the English language uses to indicate position. And finally, the mean. Now remember, the mean is all the numbers added up divided by how many there are. So we're going to divide by 21. What are the numbers add up to? We'll do it in subtotals. There are 6 10s, so they add up to 60. And there are 15 20s that add up to 300. So the mean is 360 over 21, which you then do on a calculator. What about down here? The median. There are 20 numbers, so that will divide perfectly into a first half and a second half. The first half will have 10 numbers, the second half will have 10 numbers, so the middle numbers will be the last number in the first half, namely the 10th, and the first and the second half, namely 11th, added up and divided by 2 to get what's halfway in between. What is the 10th? Well, there's 2 1s, 3 2s, so by the time the 1s and 2s have gone by on the list, you've covered 5 numbers. We're not anywhere near the 10th, so the 10th and the 11th both have to be 15. So what's halfway between 15 and 15? Well, of course, it's 15. Now, what about the mean? We're going to divide by 20 because that's how many numbers there are. What are the subtotals? The 1s add up to 2. The 3s add up to... The 2s add up to 6 because there's 3 of them. And the 4s add up to 60 because there are 15 of them. So the mean is 68 over 20. which you don't need a calculator for. It's 6.8 over 2, which is 3.4. So there are your basic Year 7 statistics for the table where you're actually told what the numbers are. We can also ask you to work out things called the quartiles. The quartiles are numbers that they're like mini medians. So the lower quartile is the median of the first half of the list. The upper quartile is the median of the second half of the list. To get these fast, just use a little trick. Take the number of numbers that there are. So for this second example, there are 20 numbers. Divide 20 by 4, get 5. If it's a whole number, go and find that position and the next one. So we want the 5th and the 6th. The 5th number is a 2, because there's 2 1s and 3 2s. The 5th number, so there's 5 1s and 2s, and the 5th is a 2. And the 6th number is therefore a 4. So the lower quartile is what's halfway between those, which is 3. The upper quartile, take 3/4 of the total count. 3/4 of 20 is 15. So go and find the 15th and the 16th and divide by 2. What is the 15th? The 15th is a 15, the 16th is a 15 as well. So the upper quartile is 15. So they're mini medians, okay? Lower quartile is the median of the first half of the list, the upper quartile is the median of the second half of the list. Get them fast by dividing the total count, which in this example is 20, and in this example is 21. Divide that by 4. If it's a whole number, get that position. So that would be the 5th and the 6th. And also get the next one, work out what's halfway between them. If it's not a whole number, round up. So, lower quartile. 21 divided by 4, halve it once, you get 10.5, halve it again, you get 5.25. Round that up, you get 6. Stick a suffix on, go and find the 6th.